Okay. I wanted to get myself that unicorn, so I did 3 subs to myself. Let's see what we got here. Okay. So because I've been hanging out with friends, oh, hang on, I feel like I'm a little out of focus. No, I was about as in focus as I was going to be. Because I've been hanging out with friends a lot lately, and we've essentially been having LAN parties at their house. I've been using my Steam machine, my Legion Go, a lot more to play 14. And I'm gonna try and get used to playing on controllers so that my brain doesn't have to swap between the different control modes. And part of that, I think, it's probably gonna be easy for me to get used to things. Are you? Yeah. It's probably gonna be easy to get used to things in the Occult Crescent. When you show up now, I was just about to go over my expedition report. With all that's happened, it's turned quite the yarn, but perhaps you'd be willing to take a listen? Here goes. How'd you get off the island? Plotting eastward course from the High Tide Harbor, Ketan Ram and his crew set forth for Shade's Triangle, resolved to uncover the mysteries of that treacherous stretch of ocean. After days of steady sailing, they at last laid eyes upon the Occult Crescent, but something strange was afoot. The isle shifted and shimmered just like a mirage, confounding all attempts at approach. Just as the crew began to despair, an unknown force seized the ship, guiding it towards the island. According to daring adventurer and valued expedition member Missing, this occurred moments after a strange voice rang out in his mind. Though it remains unclear, it is plausible that this mystery speaker and the ship's steering force are somehow linked. Once ashore, the crew entered the Phantom Village. Here, in one of its long-abandoned structures, they made a startling discovery. A wizened but welcoming old fellow called the Archive, seemingly afflicted with the Tonberry curse. Learning of Ketanram's plans, the Archive readily offered his expertise. Yet it soon became apparent that this expertise had been sealed away, the only means of recall being to hear what the adventurer saw and learned during his excursions. The mystery deepened further when Iris, a tiny familiar likely summoned by the Isle's shadowy architect, appeared out of nowhere, prompting many questions, but providing few answers. For now, she seems content to observe the expedition from a distance. As the crew explored more of these strange shores, a picture of the Isle's true purpose began to take shape. By all accounts, it appears to be a repository for knowledge and monuments from the 5th Astral Era. To keep those precious relics safe, the Occult Crescent is surrounded by a magical ward separating it from the outside world. Similar magics are also believed to prevent the expedition's vessel from leaving port. Among the island's ruins stand 2 spires, the Tower of Blood on the South Horn and its northern counterpart, the Tower of Magic. While both are considered key to unraveling the Isle's secrets, it's the latter in which the Occult Crescent's architect is thought to reside. An island-wide ward keeping knowledge within and interlopers without. A mysterious entity capable of wielding such magics. What will transpire when their true identity is unveiled? Or something along those lines. Does that all sound right to you? Thanks for listening. I'm sure there'll be plenty more to write about before the expedition ends. I can't help but worry about the crew, though. Why don't you go and pay them a visit? No doubt you'll be back on the Isle sooner rather than later. I presume you'll be using the ethereal current like you usually do. Give old Ketan Ram my regards when you arrive. Hello, phantom weapons. But for time, been meaning to have a word with you. I'm guessing you remember Geralt's plan to combine his modern methods with ancient knowledge he's uncovered. Well, it sounds like he needs to examine the phantom weapon of yours. Would you mind obliging? Straight with you, lad. I'm worried about your phantom weapon. Part of me hopes it's just the rum talking, but I'll need to take a gander either way. Go on. Stowed away. I've seen enough. Just as predicted, eh? Indeed, I'm afraid the weapon is, in a sense, defective. To think the Owl's ether could deceive even my superlative perception, a potent force indeed. And it may be, but now we'll know the plan will work. Hold on, I'm struggling to keep up. Fair enough, perhaps you could do with a reminder. Do you remember what we've done to the phantom weapon so far? It's all flown right over my head, honestly. So as we can't expect everyone to keep pace with me unmatched intellect, let's go over the basics again. In short, the ether permeating this island is teeming with illusory properties, and highly potent to boot, which will give your weapon its frightening power. Of course, that power needs stabilizing, which is why we sought to turn ancient methods to keep the ether from dissipating. I thought I had done the trick, but apparently not. Perhaps there was some flaw in the process? It would appear so. While the Isle's ether greatly elevated the weapon's capabilities, its volatile nature is limiting the potential for further enhancement. We were able to verify as much by examining the adventurer's weapon earlier. So you're saying there needs to be more, there's more power to wring out of this thing, but we just can't get to it? Can't get to it yet. Hence me grand plan. Counteract the phantasmal energies infusing the weapon, reveal its innate form, and unleash its true potential. Perfectly logical approach, but is such a thing possible? For a smith in me peerless talent and worthy of a little praise, I'd say it is, and worthy of a little praise, I'd say. If you want all the details, you'll have to congratulate me on me brilliant planning before I crack open another bottle of rum and forget all about it. Yay! Fasting your aberrations. Thirsty work! Might crack open the rum after all. Only joking. Truth is, I'm itching to get started. Those phantasmal energies I mentioned have bound your weapon in a complex illusion, preventing it from truly shining. By stripping that illusion away while revealing the true essence of the weapon, we solved the problem. Stripping the illusion away? Like using a glamour dispeller to remove the projected appearance of arms and armor? It might be feasible with the right apparatus. Now you're talking? The best part is we already got just the thing for that job, ain't that right? Didn't the archive recently fillet a glamored fish? We do? It's been a while, I forget the specifics of what happened in the story. Don't you remember the archive complaining about his piddling catch? When he cut into the fish with that rusty old knife, the glamour was dispelled and the bleeding thing shrank. The blade's the key. Thankfully, the little feller let me borrow it for a while. Just as expected, the blade's imbued with unique dispelling magics. All told, it's quite the relic in its own right. And you reckon we can use it to cut through the illusion surrounding the phantom weapon? Aye, but the Owl's ether's vexed and stuff. Nothing short of the most potent dispel and magical suffice. Which is why we need to enhance the blade first. This whole process continues to confuse and astound me. You'll never guess how I came up with the idea. I was daydreaming about the grilled fish after a few cups of rum when the archive's knife sprang to mind. Anyway, we'll need to hone the blade to boost its dispelling properties. Don't mind what we use as long as it's top quality kit. If it's blade sharpening supplies we're after, I've heard nothing but the highest praise for Monarch whetstones. They ought to sell them in Bayside Bevy. Ancestral alloy ingots, ascendant twine, and majestic polish likewise command good reputation. A skilled artisan should be more than capable of crafting them, though I'm sure they can also be purchased with sufficient gil. Seeing as how the rest of us are stuck on this bastard rock, that falls to you again, lad. Hand over the goods when you're ready. Alright, let's go back then. Ooh, I like this guy's mask. It's different than than my warg mask that I have. Is this gear from Occult Crescent? Warg pelt of healing? No. Okay, it's just the healing version of the warg pelt. Interesting. Going to Bayside Bevy. Armor. Trade class supplier. Is it Goat Blue? Monarch Whetstone. 500k? I can do that. How much is this shit going for? Oh, this ain't that bad. Ancestral alloy ingot. Ascendant twine. Yeah, this ain't that bad at all. Alright, quest complete. How do I... Okay. There we go. Cracking work. Time to get that knife honed to perfection. Though I'll think I'll have a quick sniffer of rum to help me concentrate. Don't want to mess this up. Wonders a drop of rum will do. Make me mind's clear and me hands are steady. Here goes. Some of the finest work to date, razor sharp and overflowing with ether. The blade's honed to perfection. We can get to work on those dispelling magics. The knife appears unchanged. I can assure the transformation within has been remarkable. Let's keep the pace, eh? We got illusions to dispel. You mentioned knives dispelling magics, but how are we supposed to go about improving them? Concept's simple enough. You take a dispeller of some form and imbue the blade with it. Knives as perfectly owned as ours ought to absorb a fair few dispellers, mind. Trouble is, your average glamour dispeller ain't fit for the task. We need a much stronger catalyst. In that case, I suggest we utilize special prisms known as phantom dispellers. They ought to meet your exacting requirements. Never heard a tale of such catalysts. How might they be obtained? By going through the duty finder. They're found in all places suffused with ether. That's an intense battle, to be specific. In truth, these phantom dispellers will have manifested unseen many of the battlefields you have fought upon. Thanks to your tenure on this isle, however, they will be henceforth be detectable. Given the multi-layered nature of your weapon's illusory endowment, my advice is to collect several varieties. A selection of phantom dispellers Alpha, Beta, and Y should suffice. That's Gamma, right? Should suffice. As ever, I'm loath to burden you so, but I fear your talents may make you the prime candidate for this endeavor. That's a spirit. I reckon 100 of those dispellers apiece would be plenty. And I reckon, I really do mean it this time. We won't have any scurrying out there for extra dispellers once you're back. Hiding the archive's knife. Varieties can be obtained from fates and critical encounters on the Occult Crescent's North Horn. Please note that dispellers cannot be obtained from the Fork Tower, blood, or Fork Tower magic. And dispellers are also obtainable by completing certain duties via the duty roulette. Details about applicable duties are in your journal. Please note that the current quest, Phantom Fillet, cannot be about. Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you. Okay. I need 100 of each, though. Gee, oh, also I need to go and I need to actually go unlock the North Horn. What up, Kettenrim? No blame the fellow for feeling concerned, but morale is high despite us being trapped here. And we've got good news besides. We can finally clear a route to the north. Took some doing mine, scrambling across sheer cliffs, battling upstream through rigid rapids, and wending our way through gloomy caves until we finally reached a basin of sorts. We soon set up camp along the ruins, and then set to work establishing a path back here. Any road, how's about we head straight to the North Horn? Will you be with you back in the fold? We can get straight to work. Good, I'll let the archive know. We've been waiting over the over yonder by Jeffrey. Jeffroy. With the northern base camp up and running, we're ready to proceed at a moment's notice. That said, the usual precautions apply. We're better off sticking together on that route. Not journeyed to the North Horn since emerging from the sarcophagus. I wonder what curiosities wait. I shall join you. Oh, change of heart? Or perhaps new orders to help us? I will simply be observing your companion. Well, I suppose she has been keeping an eye on us this whole while. Don't see any harm in her tagging along. Right, when you're ready to depart, just say the word. Head to the North Horn. Wait. One of my gear pieces is noticeably low. No, repair all inventories, please.
We draw upon the canvas of victory.
Oh, I just realized something. Actually. Oh, no. Let me go back. How do I leave? I forgot. I used a illicit launcher that I've never used before. Let's see. There we go. We're heading back in. This is the correct thing. I only ever play on the official launcher. Granted, if I did not play on the official launcher, any of the dastardly forbidden techniques that the non-forbidden launchers allow, I wouldn't use the worst of them. I would just use silly cosmetic ones. But no, I only ever play Final Fantasy XIV officially. Still good. Our goals here are twofold: uncover the truth of the occult crescent and ensure the crew makes it home in one piece. Now, I reckon finding the Isle's architect is key to achieving both. Given that he's probably holed up in the Tower of Magic, finding a way in should be our first order of business. According to our scouts, the fiends in this part of the island are a damn sight tougher than the beasties we've encountered so far. And if you find yourself struggling, you best head back to the South Horn for a spot of training. I should also mention that surveyors have turned up some interesting new trinkets. Speak with the crew if that tickles your fancy. Don't forget to attune with the camp's etherite while you're here. My friend, I wish to have a quick word with you. Let me know once you've completed your preparations. I was hoping we could discuss soul shards. You know, those crystalline records of martial methods conceived of the 12 city-states of Eld. As you don't recall, I posited they would only function upon the Isle itself. Was my hypothesis correct? Part of me had wondered whether you in particular might be able to wield the shard's power beyond the ward, but evidently not. In truth, I'd also been pondering the reason you were summoned here in the first place. If the voice you heard belongs to the Isle's architect, then seeking him out in the Tower of Magic ought to provide the answers on that front, too. In other words, the time has come to venture forth once more. I trust you to fix the soul shard to your person. They won't do a thing. Language at the bottom of your bag. Back on the South Horn, the only way into the Port Tower was by way of the ethereal node that appeared during the Aurora Mirages. Assuming a similar node exists on this part of the island, we ought to look for the structure housing it. If my hunch is correct, there'll be a confluence connected to the tower nearby, so keep your eyes peeled. I'll also be taking a look around myself. Get in touch via link pearl if you find anything. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Do these nerds happen to have... Oh, I don't have any of the currency from this area. Alright. Oh yeah, I'm probably gonna need to attune to all these aetherites before I can really, like, reasonably navigate this place. Oh. Is this Auroral Mirage weather? Yeah, okay, so this is where the tower is accessible. I wonder, can the tower be seen? No. Alright, let's try and not suck. Oh, I need the bunkle. Oh. How much longer do we got till this starts? Oh. Oh, let's not look at that. Oh god, there's so much explosions. There's so many explosions. Oh. Well, I fucked up. Resummon the bunkle. Oh. Damn it. Oh, come on! I once again hate how I have to manually resummon the carbuncle because it sacrifices my invulnerability. I really hope Evolved Mode fixes that. forget that I have my own heal. Ugh. There's something I'm supposed to be doing to avoid that? Just a raid wide, I'm guessing. Okay, we're doing decent. We did it! Oh, and I got 10 Phantom Dispellers. Okay, cool. So you don't get one at a time. That would have sucked. That would have sucked pretty hard, actually. Sure. It's definitely a confluence. And this structure is almost identical to the one on the South Horn. I think it's safe to say this is where the ethereal node ought to be. Something's not quite right. Not sure if arcane trickery is to blame, but this pavilion is completely inert right now. No point in us pondering out here, though. Let's head back up to camp and see if we can't chip away at the archive seals some more. I should probably, actually, let's, Don't fight me. Don't fight me, sir. I'm just looking for teleportations for Aetherites. I don't want to fight you. Don't fight me. Ignore me, ignore me, ignore me, ignore me, ignore me, ignore me, ignore me. Quickly. I'm not in combat. I don't want to be in combat. I don't want to be in combat. Okay, fine. Oh, I'm very dead. Actually, can I just have somebody res me here? Oh, somebody got it. There we go. I was like, I'm right by the Aetherite. They should be able to. They should be able to do it. There we go. Okay. So what else? What else are we looking at here? Unhallowed Hamlet. None of you see me. None of you see me. None of you see me. Thank you. No. How will I get over there? Let's see. Probably around the corner or something. I can probably get to the one up there faster. Okay. Let's head to the one over here. we go. Excellent. And then, all right, then how do we get onto that? Is that a bridge over there? That sure do be a bridge. Is this? Hollowed Hamlet. Oh, so let me swap these. There. Alright, that's all of them, yeah? I've attuned to all the thingies? I have attuned to all of the thingies. So, let's head back to base camp. Ketnerum tells me he found a confluence by the pavilion. Pray share more details. Judging by your account, I believe the confluence does indeed connect with the Tower of Magic. There goes the familiar sensation of a seal eroding. Maybe as to why we can't use the ethereal node. Several, but let me first touch upon the forked towers themselves. Over 1,500 years ago, the island's architect foresaw a calamitous disaster and thus thought to preserve a facet of all civilization here on the occult crescent. But to do so would mean storing the very knowledge that imperiled the world in a single location. Measures to prevent the misuse would be essential. Hence the ward and all the storms in the Shades Triangle? Precisely, and it is the Forked Towers that form the backbone of this approach. The Tower of Blood to project those deadly storms, and the Tower of Magic to maintain the impenetrable ward. Both undertakings require highly advanced techniques and near constant monitoring, which is why the towers are manned. As I said before, I believe it's the architect himself who resides in the Tower of Magic. So the towers are both conduits for all that magic and humble abodes for the overseers. Seems like a lot of bother just to keep one tiny island hidden from prying eyes. Even prying eyes don't deserve to be trapped against their will. So that's your belief. Either way, the Tower of Magic's the focal point of the ward. All of the isle's ethereal currents converge upon it. If the confluence you discovered is indeed so greatly diminished, we must assume that all is not well with the isle's ether. Thus begins our next investigation. The more towers are the largest structures on the island. As such, they also store the lion's share of the knowledge and relics. What do you have to say about this, Iris? The towers may have helped shape a Cold Crescent as we know it, but that's not the whole story. So the Isle's ethereal currents are in disarray. Come to think, the landscape here is completely different to what we saw down south. Feels warped, unnatural even. We ought to investigate what caused those changes. And I suggest we start by surveying multiple confluences. That should give us a clear picture of what's happening on an ethereal level. I have a mind to accompany you on your excursion. That way I can immediately share what the seal's undoing reveals at each site. No need to pay me any heed, though. In the intent of avoiding my untimely demise at the hands of some fell fiend, I shall follow it stealthily at a safe distance. In that case, I'll stay put. I suggest you concentrate your search on the ruins in the area and check around for any abnormalities. Okay, we got any critical engagements coming up? Not even the Rajas of time can dim the allure of Nimian ingenuity. Of course, the Nim of my time is not so unconcerned with gravity. The strange floating asset was not an inherent feature of the city, though, having examined the confluence, the underlying phenomenon is clear. Excess wind energies have weakened the bonds between the building and the ground, creating the landscape you see before you. Intriguingly, this result seems somehow intentional, but that hardly aligns with the goal of accurately preserving the Fifth Astral Era history. Alas, there's not much else to glean from this confluence. Let's seek out other ruins. Critical engagement to the north. How much longer till? Okay, I can get there. Don't fight me. Didn't hurt me. I just want to go to a critical engagement. There we go. Minimize this. Well, I'll just scoot it up here, I guess. Oh shit. Oh no. I'm lagging. I'm just rolling around at the speed of sound. Got places to go, gotta follow my rainbow. There we go. Alright, it looks like I have my animations back. Oh no. I'm confused. Don't run me into the... No! I'm killing people. On the bright side, my level is very low for this zone. I'm probably gonna die. Okay, over here. Do we attack over here? I was solidly out of that. Where are they going? Okay, they're over there. Over like this? Oh, I mean that. is it not letting me hit? Oh, there we go. Okay. I see how that works now. Phantom Dispellers B. Honestly, this ain't that bad. The Phantom Dispeller drop rate. Yeah, let's head up north. No, you don't see me. You don't see me. Ignore me. All right, cool. Something tells me we ought not to linger here. Thankfully, I was able to examine several ethereal flows en route. Something has sapped the area's earth-affected energies, leading to a decline in the purifying potential of the soil and a veritable mold invasion. Now I understand that the lost city of Andapur is likewise riddled. Now I understand that the lost city of Andapur is likewise riddled with rot. Yet I find it difficult to believe that those moldering forces could sweep as far as here. Not only is the North Horn isolated from the rest of the isle, but the Occult Crescent itself is miles away from the nearest port. Besides, if those foul spores had somehow spread here, I would expect the entire region to be infested. At least we are beginning to glimpse the sheer extent of the environmental decay. It is fortunate that the nearby ethereal currents were still somewhat detectable. On that note, I suggest we take our leave of these streets before we ourselves sprout moldy growths. More ruins await! Critical encounter is commencing. Carbuncle. Is this gonna be just doing the same Proto-Carbuncle stuff from Pandemonium? It does seem like it's just the Pandemonium thing again. Oh. That's not great. So they draw. They make cages. The ones that are on the wall. I would like to be resurrected, please. Here we go. Gotta get the bunkle back out. Okay, so we go like this. And then we go to the center, it's gonna push again. Oh! I thought he was at the, I thought that was centered at the center! Shit. Oh, I need the bunkle again. Oh, okay, so we take damage from inside the... It's been a bit since I've done Proto-Carbuncle. Oh, I didn't do that. I didn't mean to hit that. Fuck. This whole knockback sequence is just kicking my ass. I think like my buttons are reacting to me pushing them, so I think this is the correct thing that I'm doing here. Even though I'm not doing any animations. Oh, I am dead. God. I'm back. Okay. Actually, wait. Is there... No, there's not one nearby. I need to teleport. On this occasion, I scarcely need to examine the confluence. It's all too clear the vicinity is being subsumed by the void. In ancient Mach, mages would infuse their ceremonial chambers with astral aspected ether to facilitate their summoning arts. But that's not to imply the city was overrun with summoned void scent. If this settlement lies in such a state, it can only mean one thing. My theories can wait, however. There are more ruins to explore. The gang's doing pots. once more require the bunkle. There we go, he's dead. Phantom Dispellers. Oh, the magic pot. Where are we going? I don't know what's going on here. I never actually got to do one of those pot fates. Let's go for that critical encounter. So I'm realizing I can actually swap. Let me see. Character config. I could probably swap my cross hotbar settings. Let me go here. And I could have the left one be hotbar 8. And then I can put my mount there and then do what I was doing before, where I put my occult actions here. And there, that is now shared amongst classes. I don't think I want to be near these things. Or maybe I do, judging by everybody else's reactions. Okay. All right, is it blue is safe? Sure do seem that way. Oh. Oh no. Oh, that's not great. Can I get Well, shit. Get me, really quick. There. Shit. Well, also, forgot. So we're doing. Oh, do I not have my? Okay, I do have them up here. Let's put a lucid dreaming up here. Want my res to be here. Want LB to be up here. I'm gonna be totally, utterly honest, I have not been paying that much attention to what this boss has been doing. I've just kind of been following the crowd. Okay, so we do all that. I think we also want the bunkle on this one. Okay. And we're going down this way. This sprawling structure bears all the hallmarks of Scarlet craftsmanship, and my eye is drawn to the extensive flooding. A surfeit of water-respected ether appears to have disrupted the area's natural balance. One of the crew told me that the ancient city of Scala now lies at the bottom of a loch. Though I state the obvious, 'twas not always so. The city's submerged state is a result of a calamitous flood, not some architectural quirk. In other words, if one sought a faithful reproduction of Scalic civilization as it stood in the Fifth Astral Era, replicating the subsequent flood would be completely anachronistic. Well, now I've seen enough to support my hypothesis. I imagine Kettenram will wish to hear of it too. Let's return to the campsite post-haste. That was quite the journey. I'm not sure I'd have made it without you. Now, all the runes we saw exhibited ethereal abnormalities. The Nemean remains now float skyward due to excess wind energies. The Scalic structure was inundated with water, while the Amdapori and Maki remains are beset by earth and astral aspected imbalances, respectively. I also sense that the area surrounding the camp has been parched dry by an excess of fire-aspected ether. In short, the etheric balance of the North Horn has completely collapsed. I believe the architect used the region to model the impact of such drastic etherical changes. It's as if he intentionally replicated the wounds inflicted during the War of the Magi. To what end the architect conducted this experiment, I do not know, but the conditions stem from an excessive use of ether in accordance with each of the civilization's unique history. Perhaps disrupting the flow of ether to the Tower of Magic was part of his plan then, not that I have the foggiest idea why he'd want to. Nor have I. To jeopardize the precious remnants of the Fifth Astral Era in this way contradicts Isle's very purpose. Regardless, if your theory is correct, I'm afraid we'll have a difficult time tracking down the tower via ethereal flows, though the fact the pavilion exists at all ought to provide some encouragement. Are you suggesting there might be an ethereal node and means of activating it after all? I love a good mystery as much as the next fellow, but we're practically drowned in the bleeding things. Anyway, before we get to solving them, I reckon we ought to take stock of what we gleaned so far. We have nothing to add. What in the world happened to this isle during my century-spanning slumber? I ordered the crew to continue investigating ethereal currents in the area. While they're roaming around, I thought we might consider the mystery from a fresh angle. We've established that the occult crescent's a museum of sorts for the 5th astral era, right? But here on the North Horn, these relics and ruins were deliberately meddled with, seemingly in the name of replicating later calamities. Why so? Fortunately for us, there's someone right here who ought to know. Iris, why don't you tell us a little about your master? As I previously stated, I'm here to observe, nothing more. How about revisiting a conversation we already had then? You won't begrudge me that, would you? When we first met, I asked the archive whether he'd summoned you. Do you remember that? You were adamant the wizened little wretch hadn't. Were you speaking truthfully? Indeed, that much was true. That much? In that case, it's fair to assume Iris's master is the ultimate source of wisdom on this isle, the architect. Now, I understand is that a summoner and their familiar are usually bound by an ethereal flow. Do you reckon that we can leverage that to reach the tower somehow? Iris isn't the only familiar, is she? Suppose she isn't. Came across a fair few familiars while roaming down south, none of them particularly pleasant, mind. I'm sure the Northhorn has its own fair share of the summoned creatures. Inspecting the ether of any one of them could further our investigation. I might add that the denser the ether, the more information we stand to glean. Of course, such familiars tend to be rather more formidable. Come to think of it, when I passed through the forest during our previous excursion, I spotted a large winged creature with a crest of green feathers. Perhaps you could seek them out? I'm guessing he means the wooded area north of the lake. Either way, sounds like a job for a resident fiend feller. Make sure you hack off a chunk of them for us to examine, you hear? You obtain from a specific critical encounter. Speak with the expedition advisors if you wish to learn how to participate in critical encounters. Okay. Critical encounters are lost on the wind. Familiar tactics. Okay. All right, so that's where it's supposed to take place. Good to know. I'm gonna go refill my water bottle and stuff really quick. BRB.
Bring me eggs. Only eggs can sustain.
It's not harder, I'm not horrible, then I'm challenging you. I'm never better, I'm in your face, and I'm here, see it through. Right before your eyes, watch us multiply. Come to claim a right, it's time. As the power grows, try to stop the show. Life is worth a trust of time. So you know that we're out there, swatting lies in the making. Can't look past without breaking. Can't hold them, life won't change. And now we're buzzing out there. The crew makes us to be free, falling out in the debris. Now we know that life will change.